sometimes it takes negative to bring about positive change.
On early Friday, September 15th, St. Louis Circuit Judge Timothy Wilson filed his ruling of not guilty. Protests immediately erupted in downtown St. Louis. Jason Stockley, a former St. Louis police officer, was charged last year with first-degree murder and armed criminal action in the shooting death of Anthony Lamar Smith on December 20th, 2011. His trial was brought to the public alleging Stockley told his partner that he was going to kill Smith while they were pursuing him, then planted a gun on Smith after the shooting. Stockley shot Smith 5 times upon reaching his car. Protests that started with simple numbers of 200 grew to reach the 1,000 mark within hours that Friday. Police action was swift from the St. Louis Police Department, with the state's National Guard on standby as the preventive move from Missouri's 56th governor. What started as a movement of peace led to a night of destruction. The newly elected St. Louis Mayor, Linda Crusen's home was targeted for action by some of the protesters that Friday evening. Police actively shut down the area called the Central West End. On Saturday night, the Del Mar Loop, an artistic and vibrant community where all ages and cultures convey in St. Louis, was attacked by a small number of rioters, leaving businesses and communities in shock. The community and business owners came out that night and swiftly repaired itself by the next day.
So I think if we got... I just had some friends that were coming out to paint today, so I showed up and painted and kind of, we've been planning a mural as we go. People have been coming in and we've been tracing their hands and they've added to it, so it's kind of been a community effort.
Will Rivers, a former KRHS media student, was able to capture the Sunday protest held in downtown St. Louis.
My name is Willie Rivers. We started the protests in front of the police headquarters. We were out and we were protesting downtown. We stayed there for about an hour. As you may have read or heard on the news, they had detectives that were in unmarked cars, and they had detectives that were amongst the protesters dressed as protesters and regular civilians. A big part of it has to do with fear and a lack of understanding, a lack of awareness. So I feel that we've brought eyes, a lot more eyes to the situation. I know I'm gonna sound kind of messed up for this, but I feel that it was needed to get a point across. Because of the looting and the rioting and the destruction of property, you're definitely gonna have people that look at that whole movement and organization differently, but you have a lot of people that are going to look at it and be like, okay, this is a call for help, this is a cry for help.
According to the St. Louis Post-Dispatch, in total, 121 people were arrested on Sunday, ranging in age from 17 to 64. Tune in to KRHS TV News next month when we do a special report on diversity in St. Louis.